Nope. Why does Karina have the red preview for me? Like, it's odd. Isn't even on.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm okay. I will refrain from asking you the same thing because I think, an idea.
I've been busy.
I've heard. I'm sorry to hear the news.
Surprised word got out. I didn't tell anyone at Aegis.
Sarah told me.
Fair.
I don't think she told anyone else.
That's good.
I guilted Kita into helping run the store today. No, that's not true. I didn't guilt her. I made her a deal that she could pet my tail if she helped Sarah with the store.
Oh?
Kita.
Kita works here.
Yes, but she was not scheduled today. I think both of them.
We have a schedule?
Both of them said that it was their day off. Which is oddly inconvenient, but Sarah decided to open the shop anyway, and
You see like 7 magazines that are all empty.
I didn't want Sarah to be manning it by herself, so I convinced Kita to help her out.
I'm sure she appreciated the tail petting.
Probably.
Considering her appetites for the flesh.
Odd way of putting it, but I suppose.
I have an odd way of thinking about most things right now. I'm guessing you didn't come here to keep an eye on me.
No, I figured we would end up going together.
What for?
What do you mean?
What for? What did you need me and you together for?
You said you wish to speak to Maeve and Karina.
Yep. They're in map doing a pre-scene. Just go see and visit.
Gotcha.
They're in the pawn shop right now.
Alright.
Well, I mean, I suppose whenever you're, you know,
I'm not going to bring 7 fresh magazines to a diplomatic meeting, so
yeah, I don't think you would be allowed to anyway. There is a checkpoint where they, you know, confiscate weaponry and things like that.
I hope they're not expecting me to wear a suit. I don't have one anymore.
No, it is fine. But
Okay.
if you do not wish others to be handling your equipment, I probably would recommend simply leaving it here.
I'm not going to leave it here. We have to go somewhere. Not to worry, I know exactly what I have. Were they here now, or are they still at this embassy?
Yes, I assume that would be the best place to be.
We best leave through garden. I've been leaving messes in waterfront all day.
Are you sure you're okay? Want to talk about anything?
With me?
Anything? Yes. Do you need to talk about anything? But you know what's
I need to
been
talk
going
about
through.
things. Well, long story short, the last conversation I have with Hybris is a criticism of getting involved in Zafira. The second to last conversation I have with Andrew is lambasting the superiority of Aegis over everybody here. Many Aegis agents look at me sideways for wanting to continue to fight here. The broad strokes is that it feels like I am losing people over choosing to defend the place that has become my home. Despite all of its problems. Say again?
I think it's much more complicated than that.
Comes a point where you can only say so many things and the truth becomes pretty fucking evident.
I don't think you're losing anyone.
Maybe not losing people, but losing faith in certain people, yes. Don't mind if I do some reading while we go to this embassy?
Yeah, of course. Is there anything I should be prepared for? Anything you plan on bringing up or asking? That's... I don't...
I'm going to be keeping my personal beliefs aside and at least informing them of the honest truth of what's happening, considering the little Lycan's handler seems about as far removed from reality as Pluto is from Mercury.
You may be underestimating her just a bit. He's a soldier. He
Who?
knows how. Karina.
Oh, I'm not talking about Karina. I'm talking about Henderson, something with an H. Hendrix. Person
I do
who
not
was
know.
shocking the other Lycan who visited, who apparently was this big shot within Novarian intelligence, where frankly, like most intelligence, he
That's
only
not
seems
true.
capable of finding his way to a nice, cushy
He's a logistics.
retirement.
He's a logistics manager at the depot.
Point being, there are concerns that I think your intelligence is not reporting.
Yona would know that he's not the director of intelligence. He's the logistics manager.
So, as we make this agreement for you both to...
I don't know how much it matters right now, but I think you may be confusing this person with someone else.
At least I'm not confusing them with Karina.
No.
Never actually even...
This
man
is
at Karina.
This man was a logistics manager. He wasn't any sort of like terribly important individual. And for what it's worth, the way that he conducted himself when Lena was visiting...
That was her name. Thank you. I should know better. Lena.
Lena.
Lena?
Yes.
Lena.
Karina was particularly upset with how he conducted himself.
Good reason. Nearly started an armed conflict within the span of an hour.
Yes, and I don't think you will be disagreed with if you did end up bringing up that thing.
Piece of shit.
But I do appreciate you trying at least to keep things professional.
Take some time to do some reading and get ready.
Yeah.
I think once the armor comes off, the psychosomatic smell of cordite will wear off and the adrenaline will taper off a little.
Yeah. Okay.
Cordite. What is cordite? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yo.
I thought I had...
Howdy.
That was that copy pasta or something.
Buh.
Oh no,
I need
it was
over.
a world. We found a world.
Crazy.
That was that copy pasta.
There's portal. Yeah, we're ready to go?
Yeah.
Ready.
I didn't know if you were going to be giving me a briefing. Okay.
Oh, we'll do it in here. To the spawn box. To the spawn box. Okay, we'll tell him there. Maeve, dear. Maeve, dear. Maeve, dear. Maeve. Maeve. Oh, did I add the random spawn script to this world? Huh. I guess I forgot I did that.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Maeve. I'll give him the brief once he's here. He doesn't know this. I need to fix this map. Now that I learned so much doing the map work that I'm doing for different map, that
Mm-hmm.
I can totally overhaul this map in like 1 hour and get it way more optimized and way better lit. We'll be during daytime because this is real time and we're back 3 hours, so it's like 3 p.m. We have been at the embassy doing normal embassy shit, just like official business. I had a meeting there. I had a virtual meeting with my father, I guess. Yeah, at the embassy.
Peepaw Arena.
Yep. What was he complaining about?
Could he be asking about the port maybe? Like, when's that shit supposed to open again? When are we
Yeah,
done
it's like, oh, he
killing
wants a
each other,
status
being
update on the war. I
stupid?
guess he wants a status update on the war and how it's affecting business. All right, cool.
My eye is burning.
Something quarterly
Yeah, there's a
metrics,
spawn box
something,
here, so we can
something
do the briefing
Q4
here.
is coming up.
Ah, I
Something,
see.
something.
You're in Q3, you goofy. You
Yeah.
I know we're in
silly.
Q3.
Settings should
I
be
said
default.
Q3,
You
Q4
silly
is coming up.
bean.
If you want to change your movement settings, they're over there as a slider. But the most important thing, briefing. You come in through the anchor point, I presume, but then what you call in a chauffeur or probably like a chauffeur or something, picks you up. Classic black military SUV comes and picks you up.
I love the Secret Service.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm the Secret Service.
What they do, so you enter anchor point for a general public use anchor point in Bridgeport, downtown, and you walk outside.
Like a bus
SUV.
stop.
What?
It's like a bus stop.
Sure, yeah. And it takes you probably a 10-minute drive through downtown to the industrial, like kind of where the downtown area borders a higher end industrial district, a little bit like a port facility, where all the nicer sides of the ports are. And you stop at a military checkpoint. What seems to be some sort of military or governmental checkpoint, gate and everything. It's a relatively small compound. It's just a few buildings. And then kind of like an open dock area.
Enough to make sense for like an actual embassy, yeah.
Yeah. Yona, upon the driver coming through, Yona, you're probably sitting in the back, you two. On the left side, Yona's sitting on the left. Rolls down her window, flashes her ID, gets the gate pings and opens up. Soldiers probably. Whoever guard is on duty just says ma'am and salutes you and then lets you through. He's outside the covering and everything because he's standing there. You drive up. SUV drops you off near the entrance to the docks, and there is the boat, the shuttle waiting for you.
A boat.
There's no one there to
Nice boat.
There's no captain or anything to take you ashore. So you'd probably drive the boat yourself.
Driving?
You're driving the boat.
Am I driving? I'm driving. Let me drive the boat.
Yeah, you're driving the boat. And you're driving the boat, and you'd be arriving on the kind of shuttle boat to the dock. It is the boat. When you go into the map and you click front docks, it is the boat that you are on. Yona drove you there. Or piloted you there.
All right.
We know to expect you. You probably text us like 5 minutes out or something.
Died a
Right?
boat.
Do what?
You probably texted us like 5 minutes out.
Yeah.
Or when you got on the boat or
Well,
something.
She probably would have texted you when we got in the SUV.
Yeah, and then she would have got pinged when visitor coming for you, Miss Arindel.
Yeah.
Miss Hyphendel is here. Okay.
A lot of dells, a lot of pickles in this house.
Yeah.
Hell
Where do you think
yeah.
her name came from?
Yeah, Hyphendel.
The North.
Means servant of Arindel.
Our dad was the pelican.
It's a hyphenated pickle.
Well, you're a pickle. Okay.
They turned the embassy into a pickle.
The meeting that we were on, we're actually
Shit I ever
probably
saw.
on the island for the meeting, so
We
we've just been
turned
home
my
all day.
liking into a pickle.
It's a weekend anyway, so it was probably a non-official business. So it was just a dad calling in for an update. That's mostly that's happened today. Earlier in the day, we sparred, did some exercise, normal stuff. Wow,
I
crazy.
hate
Right.
how
You would have been notified about this. She would have told you about it.
So,
You know that this is happening.
should she be like this then? Or would you say casual?
Probably casual. It's day off.
Okay.
You're like semi on duty, but we're in the embassy, in the home. We're at home. We trained. Like you probably wear what you would wear casually. This is not a super formal meeting. All right. I'll yell at you in the VC when we're ready.
Super formal attire anyway.
Whoa. What happened to your armor?
He's
What are you doing with
dressing
your
up.
armor? Did you give it to the gate? Did you keep it in
I'm
the
assuming
car?
it's being confiscated with the staff, considering it could,
Yeah.
be anything from just a method of defending yourself all the way to, like,
When you go
Charles's
through the
previous
checkpoint,
armor,
they'd poke
concealed
through the window
weapons.
and probably inform Yona that before you get on the boat, he will need to.
Look at the hunk cosplayer.
Yeah, you're an officer, so you could technically manage that yourself, oversee him, get rid of his gear, because you're an officer, you're part of the military, and you're a trusted staff here. But it would be expected that you would pull him aside into like a small armory with like locked containers and ask that he take his armor off and store it in the locker, and that he'll get it when he gets back. It's up to you what you do with that. If you want to smuggle him in with his armor, you can do that.
He is complying. He is not smuggling anything this time. He is doing the Mandalorian. I know everything that's in there.
Well, you're telling that to Yona.
Use the key to the locker that your stuff is in, but nobody else can get in there.
All right. I'll yell at you in VC when we're ready.
Okay.
Spawning Karina's room. Damn. We need to add your room as a toggle here. I'm gonna completely overhaul this, so I don't fucking. I know so much more about that stuff now.
It's okay.
Whoa, Karina's room. Okay.
So nice.
This might be a short scene. Probably not. It's gonna be Charles. Is gonna fucking be yapping, isn't he?
Are you okay?
I'm tired. I got.
You seem. I could tell.
Yeah. Which is great because Karina's probably annoyed and stressed out about talking to her dad because her and her dad don't agree with a lot of things.
It's okay. You use the dog as a.
You know how to use the coffee system?
Every time I come here, I forget.
Okay. I'll make myself a quick coffee then. I'll just make it myself. Karina wants to make it herself. I guess we'll just be in character then. Feel free to be wherever. We're mostly just waiting for Yona to get here. Okay. Okay, ready? I'll tell Brim that we're ready, and I'll ping 3, 2, 1 scene. Yona. Yona. Mr. Shaw. Charles Shaw. Yona. Come in whenever. We're ready. Any coffee?
If you don't mind, ma'am. I feel bad. If anything, I should be making it for you.
I can make my own coffee. Grab a plate and 2 large nuts. Of course. Well,
Hmm?
I need the shot. Hot water. Another plate. And charge the 2 espresso cups.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I do need one. Excuse me, Maeve.
Of course, ma'am. Just need a minute just to get out of the office, ma'am.
Yes. You will learn how exhausting your father can
It has been a rather long day for you, especially on one of the slower days like traditionally.
Yes. Someone in the embassy must have given him my schedule.
Relics installed in most of the structures in order to maintain an air of normalcy. So if you notice me coughing a bit, that was my lungs failing.
Racist cup.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Guess that's right.
Sounds like the door.
Yona, dear. Is that you? Yes, it is.
yes,
Welcome
ma'am.
home.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome back. Oh.
Mr. Shaw, yes?
Yes.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Oh. The cups here are quite finicky.
No worries.
Karina Arindel. Oh, we have already met. No, at the meat rack, they call it. Yes. I recall. Sorry,
Yes,
it's been a
we
long,
have.
exhausting day talking to family. I hope
Fair
I am
enough.
not.
I can relate to family being exhausting.
Truly? How so? Yona.
Yes, ma'am.
My biological parents were not around, and my grandparents were exacting, cruel, and usually unwilling to offer much in the way of support to crack open that life experience.
I can't say I relate in that manner, but differing expectations for
Good.
the future with my family.
I imagine the version of needing to provide for yourself is slightly different when you hold the rank you do versus being a irrigation technician was the official title. I dug ditches for orange farms. Hardly impressive.
I disagree, truthfully. The Navy would not be able to function in its way it does without its NCOs, without its sailors, without seamen.
Oh no, I was doing this job as early as 9 years old, so it was
Perhaps
hardly
not the
before
same,
anything
but
related to that. No,
I'm not blind to the important contributions of so-called lowly technicians. A ship cannot sail without every hand.
Fair enough.
But yes, it is different life experiences. Do you wish for some coffee?
To be honest, I've been wired all day. I am going to take this opportunity to not wire myself further.
So be it. If you wish for anything, you may request from Yona or Maeve.
Good to see you again, by the way.
Likewise. Good to see you as well. Glad you're able to take some time to come down here to see us.
Come, let's sit.
It's an important thing to discuss.
Hmm.
Shall we sit outside,
Yes.
inside? It doesn't matter to me.
No offense, but I imagine you have not seen much of the sun where you have been fighting recently.
I haven't seen much of the sun in general, ma'am.
Then a brief respite might be long overdue. Please.
Would you like me to pull up a chair from down there?
Of course. Yona, if you may. Please relax. I hope I am not pulling you away from any of your important work in Zafira.
I've been taking the day for... There's no point in lying. I lost a friend yesterday, very close to me, and I would like to sit in that corner chair.
Please, feel free. May Yona sit as well.
Yes, ma'am.
The actions I've been taking have been far less strategic and far more hands-on, whether that be on throat or just in person.
The war is not going well, then I take it. I've heard worrying reports from the Director Falk, my Director of Security in the docks. It seems
The war's
Palace has
progress
been
depends
quite
on
troubled.
which district you're in. Palace has lost multiple 100,000 people. As soon as the fighting for the mega building is concluded, my efforts are going to be going there.
Quite the task.
Kenwick has lost roughly 33% of his refugee stations, with all hands and presumably all individuals inside lost. Palace is getting the worst off of it, but everywhere else with open sky faces aerial attack. Effectively everywhere except District 0.
A humanitarian crisis if I've ever seen one. Those numbers are shocking. I have heard them before, but not from any who have fought truly. Analysts always reduce things to numbers. That's how it was back during the war for us.
I think the one place I will most assuredly not have either of the two of you fight is Guardian, however. That is its own special hell.
How so? If it does not bring
Well,
memories.
it's memories I don't give a damn about. It's more the ruins and the broken down buildings, the constantly changing situations, and more specifically because of the realities of your requests, of your bound. There is residual electromagnetic pulse waves being emitted. Electronics there fail constantly, including
I see.
their,
That would cause some
I
problems.
believe the terms would be monitoring devices.
Corrective devices, but
Last thing I would want is undue harm
yes.
issued because of 6 thermonuclear bombs continuing to play havoc with the local environment.
The radiation, they may be more resistant, but what was the term? Bit flipping, I believe. The residual electromagnetic radiation messing with the electronics by causing transistors to flip could cause the corrector devices to malfunction or misreport or throw an error, that would cause issue, yes.
Most technology has had to swap to analog, so with that respect, I would not advise you go there.
No, I would not.
There's also, the radioactive environment, the cybernetic zombies that want to eat you, the 20-foot tall mech women that want to assimilate you, and the various other lovely things.
Cannot say I have ever fought against such things. But, well, I still expect fighting to be in my future and in my bounds.
Most likely, given what I've read.
I presume from the way you are speaking that you are open to the proposition that they may assist, gain experience, and other such matters that could assist you.
Well, the long story short is that Maeve has indicated to me that she does see grievance in the plight of the people's suffering in Zafira, and Yona has communicated this as well in a desire to assist me. So, in that regard, they've made this decision of their own mind, so there is no reason to take issue with it.
Quite a bit more than that. Maeve was quite insistent that they take action. I've yet to see them take such initiative on other matters. I see fit that I nourish that mindset. And truthfully, I have admitted this to Maeve. You mentioned you have read about the conflict, about the fighting I mentioned that I have partaken in. I do not expect...
Well, the more reading behind the lines, other than, say, the actual histories, because I will admit, I have not read those.
The histories are less...
It's more the fact that you don't... It's more the fact that you don't expand an officer corps, you don't have rogue speakers, and you don't have a continued force buildup on a naval border if people weren't expecting conflict regardless.
Indeed. Indeed. Despite my best efforts, economic and political goals and tensions have only resulted in a temporary ceasefire, despite my best work.
Frankly, given the state of everything, yes. Your opponent is economically dependent on the war continuing, and your nation's naval prestige demands you win in order to look good in front of your sister kingdom.
You are not incorrect. You are quite a bit more red than the last visitor that Yona has brought here.
I might have dug oranges for the first 21 years of my life, but I did counterintelligence and counterterrorism for the next 14.
Then you are not incorrect in your analysis. There will come a time when we are redeployed, when my talents will be needed again, my connections or whichever have you. And Yolna has ample fighting experience. She has been by my side for years, but Maeve, she is thoroughly well trained by the royal family, but that both of us know that means little in the face of true conflict. I wish to prepare her as
Unfortunately, no amount of training is going to prepare you for when you actually need to take another life. So,
yes.
Unfortunately, in that manner, I do have to agree.
And I wish for... I will not say whatever task you find agreeable for them will be controlled. No manner of fighting is ever truly controlled.
There's no control in
Yes,
war.
indeed. But we can control when we take initiative. You can prepare yourself for a specific task, a specific mission. I do not know what those missions will be in a year or 2, 6 months, whenever the fighting resumes. But we do know, and you especially do know what you are fighting. And that is the best we can do to prepare, to give experience to Maeve. And Yona, even. Aegis has kept her skills sharp, but from what she has told me, Aegis and their tasks are less open warfare and more special forces. Tactical insertions. Goal-oriented.
Aegis has in fact resisted as much participation formally in this fighting as possible. So most aren't skilled in open war.
Indeed. So you are,
Some
to
key
state plainly, you are
elements.
willing to bring them both into the fighting?
If that is what they wish, then that's what they'll get.
Then it shall be. I would, of course, ask that I be informed of when they would be deployed and in what manner. I will not micromanage or give tactical or strategic input. I am not an imbecile. I know that I am unfamiliar with the manner that the war is fighting. There is a difference between storming the beaches or between planning island invasions of islands using transports and naval bombardments and street-to-street fighting. Truly, you two will be learning skills that I have not learned. But some of it will transfer over. But I do wish to be informed of what manner of risks they are taking, and against whom. If that is acceptable.
Well, it would depend on where exactly they are needed the most.
Indeed. I do not require this
Fortunately,
today. It would be when.
the situation inside the meat rack itself is reaching a culmination point where the meat rack has the resources necessary to retake our mega building.
I have heard that the mega building
The
has
issue,
been
of course,
overtaken by corporate security aligned with Upper City.
yes,
The situation has not been resolved yet.
it is very difficult to resolve situations when we are survivors, not soldiers. It is very easily to organize these people into performing soldierly tasks, but the number of self-motivated, self-starting warriors is low. They'll fight to survive. It takes
a soldier
sometimes
to fight
it takes
for a task.
someone. It just takes someone telling them where to direct that violence. Many are plenty violent on their own. They just kind of need to be told, here's where you hurt them the most. Away they go. For example, my
Shock
opening
troopers
barrage on this was... I mean, most suburban fighting is shock troop fighting. But no, my first task of this insurgency was to attack a staging point that the mega building rogues were using, and that I wasn't expecting for them to detonate a pocket of methane and drown a layer of the mega building in feces, but it worked. So, fortunately, you will not be having to deal much with drowning floors in feces.
Quite absurd.
The methane pockets have already blown up, so there's no concern there. But no, enough talking about that nonsense. The main things that I'm going to ask from your end before that this request is heeded. I understand, Yona, you do not like firearms. I'm unsure of your viewpoint on this, but this is a war in the 25th century.
Yes.
You need a gun. Because the enemy is going to be using not just, a street slug thrower. The mercenaries, of which I've received information from Yona, I believe through you. The mercenaries in question, if we do any surface fighting outside of the meat rack, the turncoats have been the anvil. They have been the hammer. And every time that the Seleucia have taken to the field, we've been forced to retreat. There has been no exception to this, save the fighting on the first day. Because they didn't know what to expect from us either. But they have acclimated faster than we've figured out how to destroy their technological edge. And with all of their weapons being plasma, walking up to them is a death sentence. I understand that you both are hardy, but I do not want you absorbing a fire team's worth of plasma bolts on the off chance of being able to hit someone. Only for their shields to deflect that hit anyway.
I have expressed an openness and a willingness to qualify on any platforms that we're able to retrieve access to.
It's not that I dislike firearms, it's using them myself, having them so close to my head is more than a bit uncomfortable. Others around me using them is not as big of an issue.
Then you'll at least need your shield.
There were other options as well that I wish to speak to you about.
Have you finally considered ranged weapon, Yona?
I understand if there may be misgivings, but I am skilled with a bow. It would not require any additional long training or anything of the sort.
I don't see the harm in it myself.
It is silent, it is efficient, and you can... It is a bit easier to outfit it.
It requires no maintenance in a hostile environment for when you're forced to crawl on your stomach.
Lightweight. It would have to be a compound bow. The lower draw speed and rate of fire would be an acceptable compromise for the higher penetrative value and larger payloads. It would be more effective against the Seleucia shield, I believe, if it truly does work similarly to PCS's. Cohesion shields, it is technology. Yes, a compound bow. you would find this acceptable?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
You could even do something absurd, like explosive tips.
I had a few ideas, and that was one possibility.
I could procure one for you. Unless, of course, you already have one in mind.
I do not. I wished to speak to you about it first.
Of course. You have my approval. I'm glad that you are finally considering a ranged option, to be honest. It's been a contention point in the past. As for Maeve, I believe we were narrowing it down to some sort of large caliber rifle, yes? To give you an alternative to your personal defense weapon.
I'd been thinking about it, ma'am. I would like to ensure that there is a way that in some capacity I am able to reinforce my role as someone whose primary job it was to safeguard others. So I'd considered, given that we've been training significantly, I was considering a heavier armored role, perhaps with either some kind of close-range weapon or a light machine gun. Alternatively, though, I am open as well to the idea of a long-ranged precision weapon as well, perhaps.
You would be less effective against a Salusa. If the shielding works the same way as VRChat systems, it is based on velocity. The higher the velocity of whatever is impacting it, the more effective the dispersion effect is. It uses the energy, the kinetic energy or momentum of whatever impact as fuel in a way for the shields. The shock and the energy makes the energy structure more rigid. In a way that makes melee combatants and lower velocity weapons more effective in a way. Though this is where the Salusa confuse us. According to Novarian research onto such or similar systems, I should not be saying this, but it will affect the lives of my bound, so I'm sharing the information I can within my classification. Getting the energy barrier, the cohesion shielding, away from its projective emitters, it follows a sort of, I believe, similar to volume on a ship, inverse square law. It takes twice the amount of energy for every unit of measurement further away. So the fact that they are able to wear heavy armor over their shielding makes it quite confusing to our analysts. Usually those with VRChat shielding needs to be coated along the surface of the armor, which requires nanoscopic integration. The science of it is beyond me, but it is kept for personal shielding within Novaria. VIPs, important individual shock teams, those who can justify the cost or use it in such a way that does not increase the volume between the emitter and the shield. But if the technology works the same, melee weapons and lower velocity rounds may be effective. More effective, at least. I say this because perhaps a long-range, high-caliber weapon would not be the best choice, at least for this conflict. A lower velocity squad-based weapon may be perhaps even subsonic with a suppressor. It would also
And you could just put subsonic ammunition into her sidearm.
Indeed,
spam the shield, then swap to your rifle, and then destroy the armor using the higher caliber round.
Yes, that could work as well. But if you are going subsonic, you may as well take advantage by suppressing the weapon, and it would accentuate and work better with their sensitive hearing. Would make you a better partner for Yona. We will speak more of this later. I'm liking this idea. Does this sound acceptable for the
Large.
type of fighting that you will be introducing them to?
As long as it's something adaptable and something relatively compact.
Compact.
Running around with a 5-foot rifle in a sewer isn't a good idea.
Perhaps some sort of rifle platform that is undergone some sort of squad-based conversion for higher capacity.
That, or I was
With larger,
thinking
lower
pairing.
velocity caliber munitions.
Alternatively, ma'am, another weapons platform I'd be willing to work on, as I feel like, as you mentioned, versatility would be well advised. We could have a larger squad-based weapon, belt-fed of the sorts, for certain engagements, but then perhaps a shield and shotgun weapons platform.
Well, you will have VRMesh integration, so as long as we increase your cell count to proper levels, you could have both.
Perhaps a shield for others as well, ma'am, if needed.
Considering that you are going to be operating alongside Maeve, she has, as a 5th generation, like in the same biological, what would you call, VMS cells, this type of nanostructure, robotics integrated within her biology. It allows her to, I shall demonstrate. Allows the rapid construction and deconstruction of material into a specified, we call them blueprints. It allows for one to carry multiple different weapons on the person and used for multiple factors. She does not have the cohesion shielding integration. It's restricted to her kind at the moment, but it will make for a more adaptable weapons platform. Quite compact, too.
Is this affected by electromagnetic pulse?
No. Because it is integrated within the body's cells, and they are, in a way, deconstructed and microscopic. Most electromagnetic pulses, the wavelength is too large to affect the individual cells. They are, I say microscopic, but they are truly on the nanomolecular level. Similar to how some forms of light, yes, to use the colloquial term, yes. Similar to how some forms of light or the microwave wavelengths are too large to go through the mesh in the front of a microwave. Similar with electromagnetic pulses. Of course, one could design a device in such a way that would, well, still affect it, but most devices such as background radiation from nuclear detonations should not affect it. Unlike the colors.
Duly noted.
Beyond the Solusa, one thing Director Falk has not been able to give me confidence on is how long the fighting will persist. Of course, it's war, and one cannot... one does not come home by Christmas, of course. It is never, despite what the politicians say, never true. But do you have an estimate of how, in the general sense, how much longer the fighting may persist?
No earthly idea, because the attitudes of the various commands of the districts seem confused.
Are the warlords of Saphira vying for power over the fighting?
No, I should clarify. The opposing forces command structure is confused. confused. I think they expected this fight to already be done. Considering some of the units being deployed are more terror squads than proper soldiery,
They expected
the fighting
to
is confusing.
shock everyone into laying over and baring their stomachs.
Pretty much, yes.
They
A
probably have
common
not
weakness
adequately
of theirs
prepared their
is that
logistics in such situations. Logistics is the first
they
thing
have
to lose.
they have an interstellar logistics network, so their overall logistics is quite strong. It's just on the basis of districts that they have less ground in is when their logistics can be threatened.
Indeed.
Such as the logistics of the mega building.
One can
But
be...
try to, say, threaten the logistics of the forces in Palace, you're swatting at flies in the middle of a field of corpses. Hit one, there will be a billion more in an hour.
They must have some sort of logistics train if they're getting supplies from some sort of galactic conglomerate or entity. They must have some sort of entry point or supply route. If you are rich one place, it does not make you rich another. You must get
if I may,
to there, yes.
In theory, couldn't you actually see that from the cathedral?
Depends on
How the
method.
supplies are going from the upper city, which is immensely shielded from surveillance, to their forces on the ground is the part that we cannot see.
Sensible. Cannot simply look at satellite imagery when the fighting is beneath an entire city.
Yes. There's a working theory that the EMPs that were detonated before the full attacks were actually obfuscation measures to plant teleporters, but where those teleporters are and how much they're capable of doing is entirely unknown, as well as our ability to counteract the teleportation.
Wealth of the upper city to use teleporters in such a logistical, carefree manner is... Not to say that does not shock me.
They have more money than sense. Their clothes are interweaved with actual gold.
Of course.
The scavers have been quite rich of late.
Speaking of scavenging, Yona, did you mention the proposition about one thing that I would wish for out of this?
Recovering some of the equipment?
Yes. Some of the Salusa equipment. As I have mentioned, certain elements of Novarian research, the research sector and private sector, are quite confused as to how the Salusa are able to mass produce such similar technology as we develop. Cohesion technology is a very specific application of Vermesh integration. To see it used in such bulk across such large numbers intrigues us.
Well, as I said, we've never been able to kill one.
Truly.
Outside of the fighting on the first day, as far as I'm aware, we have never killed a Salusa. And that was only because the entire might of the whole of the slums and two of the largest military-industrial complexes in Saphira, save Leap Foundry itself, were throwing themselves at their lines with reckless abandon.
Well, do not throw yourselves with reckless abandon to these individuals, but if some manner of fluke or opportunity presents itself, it would do a lot to the Admiralty to excuse the previous error on your part if you could recover such a device, or even some sample of it, Yona. But of course, in the field, do not allow it to distract you from whatever your orders are or your objective is. You as well, Maeve.
Yes, ma'am.
Should this
Of course
fighting
not.
come to pass, you are to take Yona's orders, and whoever is in command of the squad at the time, defer to their experiences.
Of course
What
not.
may seem unsensible to you may be some manner of intuition or experience by the others that is informing them that you are not aware of.
I have all faith and trust in those here at the table.
Quite high praise from Maeve.
I may not have serviced directly under Mr. Shaw, but given the man that I believe I've come to understand loosely through the brief conversations we've had, I want to believe that he is an honorable man at heart and a man of action.
Incredibly high praise. I hope that trust is given the weight it deserves, Mr. Shaw. Did you have any questions for myself?
Considering all factors, trust that my priority is that whoever I send out comes back. Outside of that, I cannot guarantee anything else in terms of my priorities.
Of course.
And we may even get lucky and the Seleucid don't even show up.
Of course. I would prefer you keep that your priority as well. I am no stranger to such failures myself.
My questions were satisfied the moment I understood both of this to be a willing affair for the both of them. Outside of that, effectively getting them armed and armored is all I really ask. I've already lost one friend today, and I've lost a lot of others in this past month or so of war, and I'm not looking to bury two more.
My condolences on your friend. I know it means little, but it is all I can give.
Indeed it is.
If that is all, then. Do you wish for my contact
Could I
information?
have one question with you in private?
Indeed. Yona, Maeve.
Once this is done, we can talk
Yes, ma'am.
in a more cordial manner inside the house.
I'm dismissed. Thank you, Yana.
Thank you, man. Could you get the door for me, please? Thank you.
Now that we are speaking soldier to soldier, the one concern I have out of all of this, if you know things about me, then you obviously know my history, and you likely know my actual beliefs. Not to mention Yona was wearing her device, which includes a microphone, which means you probably also heard my opinions of whoever the fuck this Hawthorne, Harkon, Harkis, whatever the fuck their name was.
I try not to listen too much to Yona's corrective device. Some handlers are obsessive about it. It's a bad mentality. But you speak of Henrik Johannes, Director of Logistics at Terminal 4 and the Consortium Dockyards and Waterfront, yes?
Yes.
Handler to Lena Johannika?
Yes. I will warn, their actions have turned the overwhelming majority of the meat rack against Novaria.
Truly. Overwhelmingly.
Yes.
Surprised. Speaking soldier to soldier, I did wish to give aid, and Yona wished to give aid. I had hoped that such a delivery would foster goodwill, would help where it is needed. I had thought
Less
that...
that the delivery wasn't appreciated, and more that the inbred cocksneeze that was in charge of the trigger was,
Yes, he was.
very overt.
Former director Johannes is... He has been given a sharp reminder as to what his job actually is, and what his responsibilities
The
to both
former
company.
part.
Yes, he is now...
The foreign part, or
He is
not
now
foreign.
yet again another manager, still in the dockyards, or would not be... It is not easy to relocate someone across the world, across the planet. Novaria does not make heavy use of the teleportation technology, but that, and he, in all technicality, broke no laws and was doing everything within his right. Miss Lena was indeed committing actions that were in technicality against company policy and regulations, letting unauthorized individuals onto an in-company property, handing over manifests to the clients upon first delivery with no trust. The errors she should not have made, but...
I will admit, the one time I saw a shocking firsthand was more that Hamsky had decided to... I forget what stupid name he put me in. I think it was Mustache Face or something stupid. Just understand that that wasn't her failure. Hamsky has a way of playing pranks on those who are obviously not from the slums. Well-mannered or not.
It is a form of hazing, I would imagine.
Effectively. I don't think he realized that it would lead to the punishment that it did.
I did not realize that. I will admit, I chose the directors for this operation. My formal position within the consortium is Director of International Trade. I have been absent from such a position for multiple years up until my posting here due to the war. I had gotten a dossier full of directors that I thought was fitting. Director Johannika had Johannes had a clean record, ample reason to want to move, but is missing such things such as personal temperament or other such temperamental problems is, I won't say an oversight. I did not know the man personally, only met him for the interview. But his dossier said it was... I will not go into the nitty-gritty, but he has been reprimanded, and his position of authority has been lessened for now until he can prove himself to be more clear-minded. I had stressed in the briefing that it was a goodwill to foreigners, and you and yourself you do not understand the reason.
I understand that there's several hundred years of context that I'm missing in this.
Yes.
Truthfully, the concerns raised by Maeve are the only reason I'm willing to give a moment's hesitation.
I will not lecture you on the history of the Lycans and their place within
I've already read it. One of your princesses was slaughtered by a group of negative aligned Lycans who saw a perfect opportunity to strike a terror attack on a person who was weak, undefended, and looking to spread good intentions. Honest and good hearts make very easy hearts to spread open with a knife.
Indeed. Were it not for the Lycan's bloodthirstiness, Princess Ophelia would still be with us today. Of course she is before my time, but... Yes, her tale
Maybe
is
this is
an old one.
Maybe this is my cynicism or the bloodlust coming up from losing a friend, but I think that give a group enough reason, and any species can become as bloodthirsty as a lichen.
That is true.
I can regale you of tales from back home, but that is neither relevant nor is it going to change anything.
I have a
My
subordinate,
hope.
Eleanor, Captain Sinclair. She... some years ago, after... we planned a naval ambush. The details are still classified, but the result was that one of her subordinates, her ship was purposefully exposed in order to draw out a certain action by the enemy. She volunteered, but a favorite subordinate of hers, the ship was struck. Her subordinate perished, and well, I am no stranger to how bloodthirsty one can get when provoked or their loved ones are hurt. It is the provoking that makes a human or an elf or whatever other civilized species. A civilized species will retaliate when provoked. It is those that will attack and attempt to destroy civilization, attempt to murder and pillage without reason, without provocation, that is what concerns us. And what we have seen with untamed, unbound lichens. Maeve and Yona are proof
The
that
Eastern Wilds.
Yes. Yes.
My concern and reason why I would be willing to even hand over the shield technology is that the opposing force nation, if Maeve is to be believed, does not have a path to statehood or indeed plans to consider the existence of lichens, Eastern or Western. Of course, this may be
Maradonians.
100 years? Yes. Of course, this may be 100 years of being told as such, to keep them in line. But it is truly a concern if the lichens go from having a bad state to no state at all. Is the reason why I would be willing to assist in that matter.
Speaking as soldiers, well, if I wanted to speak
We've
as
been
a
speaking as soldiers
yes.
since the two left.
If I were to speak as a politician here, I would nod my head along and say Maeve is right, but that is not the reality. The Maradonians, they do not think of the lichens, as far as we are concerned, as far as we are aware. They simply do not think of them. Whether their policies... we are not expecting the war to deteriorate on either side to the point of Navaria being occupied by the Maradonians. The conflict is a territorial one, dispute over the Singhalese archipelago. should the war deteriorate to that point, we have bigger concerns than lichen rights to be in mind. But it does not surprise me that Maeve would have been taught that. It is truly not something we can make a statement on. We do not know the
More so the fact
policy about
that
lichens, for they do not have lichens within their country. Merely demi-humans and humans, the normal populations. So I believe they have some small part of, mostly foxkin, amongst their civilian population.
the primary concern is more, even if they do not directly occupy, that Novaria becomes economically or socially subservient. I'm sure being an empire, you're aware of the concept of spheres of influence. They were very popular back home too.
If they were to secure
would
the
be the
Singhalese
concern.
archipelago, they would secure sizable economic influence within Novaria, in manners I am not at obligation nor ability to discuss. But yes, it is not an unfounded educational matter to teach the lichens such things, but it is not what I would have chosen.
The long story short is that I will hope with our collaboration and the continued exhibition of the personhood of your bound, which seems to have captured your nation's attention regardless of the whitewashing, that even if it will not be in our lifetime, people will become to understand that these individuals are not people to be shocked, beaten, and prodded around like Lana or Lena.
Lena.
My pronunciation is still weak.
Yes, if Mr. Henrik were to continue to act in such a way, his handler certification may be brought into question. Of course, this was his first offense, so there are procedures and policy regarding to when you may correct your bound, regarding what situations are important to do so. You say that in the generations, that is the goal, that we educate their kind and uplift them into a people that can become a people instead of bloodthirsty hounds, to say bluntly, a bit crassusly, but
there's a difference between moving the goalpost and continuing this process going and actually seeing it succeed. That is the one uncertainty.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Oh.
Which is why, if this goes well and people understand that they are people, hopefully we will see a future of collaboration, because otherwise the potential costs for everyone, again, ironically enough introduced by Maeve, are, even for my blood, potentially too high. Back home it was easy to do what we did.
The goal of all of my stations should be
By the way,
to
I don't want to keep them waiting forever.
not
especially
to senselessly punish, Mr. Shaw. We are uplifting those of us who actually know what we are doing, unlike Mr. Henrik.
Understood. Well, I do appreciate the honest candor, and I think we should go back to them and enjoy the rest of the evening before I am called back to the war.
Do you hold a formal position within some sort of military structure? Within Guardian, I believe it was.
Yes and no. I have a rank, and Guardian does exist. They actually
Oh.
took back the original main
Surely.
headquarters, what's left of the main headquarters.
Maybe triggered.
That
And
is
to put it this
pleasant
way,
news.
That was nice.
to put it this way, Guardian operates very much off of the fact that we have been fighting and bleeding with one another for a half a decade now. Even some of the youngest of the more established members. Some of them have been fighting and dying alongside one another for decades now. Rank is something if you do not have the ability to clearly delineate what needs and needs to be done and who needs to do it.
Rank out of necessity.
Consider
instead of
me...
formality.
You can consider me more of a privateer in that regard. I'm given writ to do what I believe Geldir sees as best fit for the future of the district. Truly, he hasn't passed orders to me in over a year. Because I don't need to. I show up, I fight enemies of his. Their extinguished areas become stable.
An ominous attack dog.
Bad guys go away, good guys get to live another day. Hoorah, effectively.
Put simply, yes. You'll know me.
Sorry, you kind of walked into the back half of a conversation.
Merely
You were asking
inquiring
about my
the-
actual formal rank in Guardian, to which I'm technically considered an intelligence officer. Which is probably how I was, if that wasn't already guessed from my ability to ascertain that Novari is building up a military presence.
It is quite obvious. in
Without
some
having
manner.
set foot in Novaria.
One
Well, I
must
mean,
protect their economic
listen,
interests. And all the other political
Your real
bullshit.
giveaway was your officers. One does not establish a position hungry and, especially due to the nobility tide, prestige reliant officer corps if you're not expecting those officers to be put to use. One does not develop military prestige sitting on their ass at a desk.
That is what I was just explaining to my father. Yes, that was the meeting I was in right before this. The Arindels are historically a civilian nobility. Trade, mercantile, business, land. It has caused quite a militarily political scandal that I have got into my position at as young as I am, from a family as fresh to the military as my own.
I will admit I have no idea how old you are, so I will just assume so.
I will leave it a mystery then. Yona,
Yes, ma'am.
could you grab me some water? I think one of my cigars went bad.
So why specifically belt fed?
Yes, me. Why belt fed? Have you ever shot a belt fed machine gun before?
Only when we would have to perform some of the trainings in convoy routes, if we had to man the open spots of turrets, or if we were guarding a compound and having to be prepared in case of a mass organized riot should it turn violent. Guarding embassies and locations like that, though of course that was for more specialized training avenues. And if I can be a little personal for a moment, the weight felt good.
I was an ammo bearer. I was familiar with the feeling.
There was a pride that I felt in me being able to wear some of the heavier armament, arms and armor.
Thank you, Yona.
Being able to wield it and maneuver myself with grace that others could not. I took a personal pride in my abilities, and the way that I was able to train my body, there was a confidence booster being able to wear such heavy armor and wield such large armaments. But also, if we had to be a little bit more practical, the large magazine capacity allows for efficient suppression of enemy forces, or in the case of there being a swarm, as I'd imagine would be amongst things that could be dealt with. The target-rich
Depending on the opposing force, yes.
Yes, what were they called? You spoke of me to them once, Yona. The rats that plague the
The
distant plague.
Skaven.
Skaven, yes.
Rest assured, the Skaven are scared shitless by this war.
Oh, are they now? Still scurrying about, though, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. There's probably millions of them under the city.
Being able to make the opposing force think twice about running into an area lest they meet their god is inviting. And the ability for it to be by our hands, and for the ability to shrug off incoming fire in a way, while also being a bulwark for my allies, seems
You strike
inviting.
me. You remind me of some of my gunnery officers. In the way you speak about weaponry.
I am a proud Lycan woman, one that has grown to be refined and very capable, as is my station. But, after all, at the end of the day, I am a shield. And I wish to display that.
Perhaps when I regain my station amongst the Valtaria, I can ask some of the gunnery officers to show you around all the different weaponry. Get you trained on all of them, should the need arise.
That is the brief reason for my choice in a larger squad or squad service weapon.
Perhaps a trip to a firing range should be arranged.
I'd be delighted.
More so with the technological advancements of your nation, I'm more surprised that drum magazines haven't been perfected. Most of the issues of them have been ironed out by most Zephyrin gun companies, but then again, it may also be because mercenaries love the look of a good drum magazine.
Yes.
There was also a
much of Novarian arms.
A practicality to it.
More electromagnetic and rail-based weaponry, though we still make selective use of more traditional ballistics.
You were about to say?
Oh, just I'm sure you're familiar with the need to break links off and otherwise to use them in a weapon that takes the same caliber.
So are you familiar with the over 500-year-old operating system known as the Browning automatic rifle? I would imagine not.
I am, actually.
I see you've been to a museum.
Not quite, but we study, of course,
I've seen
naval
you've
history.
been to an archaeological dig.
We have some samples at the Novarian Naval Academy. As part of our history lessons.
Point being, it was a unwieldy, long, recoil nightmare of a gun that could take hamburgers out of people. And it had a 20-round box magazine that you could carry a lot of those boxes. So that was what our machine gunner used. So that was what I carried. I never actually carried a lot of belted ammunition. Besides, you would hate to dive onto a rock and accidentally lose 50 bullets.
Well, I will also be honest. I'm not quite familiar with what the equivalencies that the modern general Novarian would be.
Trust me, I don't believe anyone would be stupid enough to use the equivalent of a bar, save maybe myself in 2426.
But whatever it would be that Navaria would use, I think I would like to look into the equivalency. After all,
Perhaps I am not
if for
quite
no
that
other
foolish,
reason.
but are you familiar with what an Orlican is?
Yes. You are also augmented.
Yes, but it is no less an antiquated weapon platform. I've used one
Oh,
once
I thought you were meaning in terms
anger.
of performance. Yes.
I've used one once in anger, in the most stupid engagement I've ever been in.
War can be pretty stupid.
Yes, there was a unmanned weapon system making an advancement on one of the. I was on a shoreboat to ferry myself off of one of the landing craft after one of the landings, and out from the bushes comes some unmanned platform, and we are on a small. We thought the harbor was secure. It was a mistake on my part to. I learned that day to be more thorough with my searches, but this weapon system comes out of a small hidden patch in the foliage, and the weapons platform amongst this ferry boat jams. The electromagnetic coiling inside seemed to have been miscalibrated, and one of the electromagnetic rings had disaligned, jamming the rifle mid-shot. And so the platform is approaching us. Obviously, a suicidal explosive device of some kind, and it's approaching 500 yards, perhaps. And it is about 20 feet long, maybe half the length of the craft we are on, but more than enough. A 20-foot long boat, even with its unmanned systems, could
That's a lot
carry.
of boom.
There's a lot of, yes. Perhaps I still do not know to this day, but I think that I think he was targeting me. Yolna, of course, does not carry any heavy arms, and all of the individuals with me only were having personal small arms. So I pull out. I have blueprinted into my Vermesh systems a 20mm Orlican anti-aircraft cannon. I procured the blueprint for back during the Naval Academy as a jest to one of my friends. Little did I know, it saved my life that day. It took me a moment to remember I even had such a thing in my systems, and out it comes, and one shot. Felt the shockwave from perhaps 500 yards out.
Still remember how long my ears were ringing for.
It was quite loud. It was never expected such an antiquated weapon system that I had procured as a joke to be what saved my life that someday, but as you said, war brings out the absurdity in everything.
I think if I recounted the number of ways I've killed someone, it would not be worth repeating. Mine was unironically a rock.
A rock. I can't say I've
Do
ever
you
killed someone with a
remember? Do you remember how I said how I lost my sense of smell?
Yes, vaguely.
Oh. In that case, you can feel free to tune this out so that way you don't need to relive the horror.
You may have some
I was attacked in the middle of a
Go light on it,
night
Wave.
reconnaissance mission. I'm sure she can handle it, but sure enough.
I'm unsure
I
if
was
you've
just
ever
thinking.
drunk before. Now that
I'm not sure if she's heard us
No.
either.
You were saying you were ambushed on a night reconnaissance
Not
mission.
casually.
By a individual back home that were called the Fumantari. essentially they were assassins raised since childhood.
Oh,
They were some of the best infiltrators and assassins of the opposing force. And one tried to ambush me. Now, of course, they delight in taking life up close, so they did not bother to shoot me at a distance, which they could have done. They wanted to stick a blade in my neck, so they tried. In the melee, they lost their weapon. I lost both of mine. Actually, 3 of mine. And in the process, I was desert and mountain activities, so I had one of the camelback backpacks with a metal straw attached. And he had gotten a hold of the straw, and after knocking my gas mask loose, attempted to jam it into my eye socket, missed by a hair's length, and jammed it through my nose.
Oh.
Which is why I have this lovely piece of covering right there. And also why I cannot smell, which I heard was apparently a horrible thing. I'm just kind of used to it, I guess.
I imagine
Most
Yona or
humans
Maeve
do not-
made quite a shocking sound when they realized you could not smell.
That was Yona. I've never told Maeve this story.
All I heard was the sulfur story.
The sulfur story.
Ah, yes, the sulfur story. Oh, we're going to need to sit down for this one, because
Do you
with
wish
the
for
amount
any
of
wine?
stupidity on hand, you might lose the ability to walk.
Please. Yona, some wine.
So, on a long-range reconnaissance patrol, we had come across a dried lake bed that we needed to navigate through to get to the enemy's position. We're in the process of doing so when some ants jump out of the ground. Now, of course, this doesn't sound like an issue because ants are about that big here. Here they're about back home they're about the length of this table. Slightly wider than it too.
Huh.
Oh, no, I was bringing it to them.
Some sort
Let's
of
just
mutation, I
say
imagine.
Guardian District was not my first time being exposed to radiological materials, no.
Careful, Maeve. The table does not hold the cups.
Oh, yes. It's a racist table, just like the racist
Oh, the
tables.
racist table, yes.
Should we move somewhere else where it might,
No,
or do
just-
all of the tables
We are
hold such negative
we
dispositions?
most definitely have glasses in front of us.
Fair enough, I don't. Either way,
Now you do.
I see.
Oh, do I have to drop it?
Thank you, Maeve.
Yes.
Okay.
So, as we're moving along, these ants burst out of the ground, and our anti-tank gunner gets his leg caught all the way up to the knee in this thing's jaw. And it's bitten through the ballistic weave of our leg, but hadn't pierced the flesh. So it's throwing him around like a rag doll. And we're trying to get to him, but the ants are preventing us from doing so. He can't reach his sidearm because he's being thrown around. So he grabs the only weapon he can, his anti-tank gun. And we see as he aims it down the length of his leg at the ant's head. And
Where is the muzzle?
the machine gunner
He'll
and
blow his leg
myself
off.
exactly what we thought. And so the machine gunner, myself, and one of our riflemen tried desperately to reach him, but we did not make it in time before the mist of pink and yellow, the ants bled yellow, rains throughout. And so we think, oh shit, this guy's blown his leg off. So we rush to get the ant head, the only part of the ant that survived, off of his stump,
The head
we
survived,
presumed,
it
so we
wasn't
could put a tourniquet on it. As we're attempting to do this, our machine gunner, in his infinite wisdom, looks at me, looks back at the gore, and says, Charles, that doesn't look like blood. And then he takes his helmet off. And so I'm immediately horrified. Our helmets are linked to our gas mask, so it's one package. Which, again, tells you the strength of Umatara, considering he managed to break steel with his fists. So, he takes his helmet off, takes a wide swath of it from his fingers, and licks it. Before he can get another word, myself and the other riflemen are beating the machine gunner half to death.
The stupidity of some of my Marines.
Yona's heard this story about 7 times. I'm so sorry, Yona.
I brought it up in fairness.
This is a common story, Yona.
It is one of my few good war stories.
Underestimating.
That is a rarity.
Which I guess spoils the ending of how this goes. Well, give me a moment. So, we eventually get the ant head off of his leg, and amazingly, his leg's still there. You know, all 5 digits, foot, everything. Everything's exactly where it needs to be.
Did he shove the barrel down the mouth of the ant in the organs and
we think he hit it in the shoulder and it blew out.
Oh. Absorb the shockwave.
So it was actually just past his foot, yes.
Incredibly fortunate.
So, incredibly. So, we remove the ant head. I'm, on the ground ready to throw another punch, and then the rifleman goes, wait, there's his foot, perfectly attached. The ants bleed yellow. So what is this? So of course he takes his helmet off and licks it.
Of course.
And eventually the whole squad did. The AT gunner obviously last. Because it tasted like cinnamon.
Oh.
Now, I haven't already said this. Where I came from is another demiplane. I'm not actually from this Earth at all.
I heard.
We ended our civilization in nuclear hellfire roughly 180 years before I was born. So things like cinnamon did not exist. We roughly knew what it was from powderized cinnamon in pre-war mess kits that we would occasionally, yes. So we obviously, as, proper special forces, top of the line guys, descend into anarchy and begin filling every empty magazine, every spare helmet, every orifice we could with this red gooey substance that tastes like cinnamon, and drag it back to base 1 week later, whereby we learned from a science officer who was attached to our regiment in case we found anything odd that what we were actually licking and eating was a pheromone flame propellant that is stored in an organ in the neck of the ant whenever they've frequently mutated around sulfur deposits. Yes, and we were eating the flamer fuel, yes.
Was it safe to eat?
None of us burst into flames. The science officer told us it was wildly dangerous and that we should never do that again.
I have heard of more absurd rations.
I ate all of mine. Well, if you want more absurd rations, that's another story, but that's not safe for the kitchen, so. My other good war story. I basically only have the 2.
Yes,
long story short, raw aloe vera without being processed is a diuretic. Don't eat it.
I can imagine.
Yes. You now know the majority of how that story goes. Fortunately, it wasn't me, and
Someone
it wasn't
listed
our people.
probably made some sort of mistake, misconception.
No, it was an officer.
It was an officer, of course.
A young one.
The first lieutenant, actually.
I've heard the story.
Yes.
It,
An excruciating detail.
it is certainly not one fit for the kitchen. He's definitely cracked.
Then perhaps another time. Mayhaps if I visit this meat rack once things calm down.
I imagine win or lose, things are not going to be calming down for a while.
Yes.
Something to keep in mind is that the threat of the upper city has always reigned over everyone in the city, from the lowest of the low to our council. If we were to win, there would have to be a new balance of power established. Not to mention the damages and the probable millions dead, properly buried and mourned.
Disease must be running rampant.
Unfortunately, that is something where I think you should concentrate on your own first.
Yes, we have taken preemptive measures already. Is why the docks are permanently staffed by lichens at the moment, and their select handlers more resistant to disease and radioactive fallout.
I meant mainly the article from your clinic on the mainland.
That is not specifically my area of expertise, nor my authority. Such things are, well, I'm nowhere near running the country, or even running my own, my father's or my family's company. But I look out for my people in the ways I can, those I am responsible for. Despite the best attempts by politics to get involved. You'll not, dear. I'm done.
So did either of you have any questions for me, actually? Because I realized that the questions were mainly from her end, so...
I do not believe so, at least not off the top of my head. I will give it some thought and let you know if I think of anything.
I do.
Oh, yes.
Given that this is a bit of a unique situation that we're finding ourselves in, I understand your desire to remove us from the theater of Guardian, but...
Keep speaking.
Where do you see ourselves? Where do you rather see us operating and performing?
If you're going to be fighting, more likely it will be under myself, just because of the requests put on me.
The other
so
question,
more likely, sorry, go on.
Mainly, which actions would we be performing? Like what will the various operations that you are aware of entail? Could it be a various mix? Will there be a specific set that you will be tasking us to assist with? Will there be certain roles that our little organization will be performing? Do you have any general idea so we could be loosely aware? I understand you alluded earlier to the sewers, but I was uncertain if it was to what extent or to what ends or the various roles we'd be performing would be.
The most immediate objective that comes to mind with the skill sets that you already possess is actually unrelated to fighting any of the upper city forces at all. There are ball cultists that are operating inside tunnels that are needed for the movement of supplies Their elimination from the area is paramount to our own logistics surviving. There is also the fact that there is a desire to open up a second theater against the upper city in a more permanent capacity. This is where a faction of the ball cultists known as the Beastmen come into play. They are extraplanar in origin and have been affected by a force of elemental chaos, is the best way I can describe it without opening up a textbook. Effectively, these are individuals exposed to the raw nature of the malleability of the universe, and it has changed them for the worst. They are, to put in language everyone here understands, the talking points of the Eastern Lycans are very much the casual existence of a beastman. They worship a god that demands blood and flesh and very much aim to destroy any pillar of civilization that they can. The only reason they use a gun or armor is a mockery of civilization itself. We've deciphered this from... Specifically, we're aiming on, frankly, pissing them off. So that way they will rise out of the sewers at a position of our convenient location, which just so happens to be directly under one of the larger upper city concentrations in the district. From there, I aim on utilizing propaganda and false flag operations to where the faction of the upper city that is either lying about their intent or they are well and truly individuals piloting drones who believe that they are somehow playing a video game. I will seed into their communications networks the potential reality that this is a new event. I had my daughter explain quite a bit about video games so I could understand how these events work.
I cannot say I've...
But effectively, the long story short is we're going to call them call their bluff on whether or not they are playing a video game or not by essentially seeding a false flag operation to draw in their units to fight the Beastmen, not realizing that this is a front that we engineered to have them fight on the worst ground possible against enemies no one will mourn or care that they're gone. Because understand that the Beastmen, as I said, hate any facet of civilization. They would even despise the Eastern Lycans for having a written language.
Worse than savages.
They are the worst of the worst that I have encountered.
I've been briefed on their
So
existence to an
consumed.
extent. They seem quite, just like with this Skaven, quite entrenched within the sewers of the city in some locations. Should be...
The latest reports before the war listed their numbers as over 100,000. So, yes, they are numerous.
More than a fitting first encounter for you.
Yes, ma'am.
The only issue, of course, being that the Beastmen hardly have a phone to Upper City. The odds of this shielding being present is effectively zero.
This request for Solusa shielding technology is an additional optional objective. It is a nice to have, not a requirement.
Not a condition.
No.
Understood.
It would be... I would also not expect it, if it were to happen on the first attempt of collaboration. It is a objective of opportunity. The objective here is primarily to give Maeve the experience and also act as a reward for her excellent service so far. And of course, you cannot undersell the actual positive impact we would be having.
Well, of course, from what I understand, it would not be officially recognized as Novarian.
Of course
so
not. But
I would at least recommend masks, but that is entirely up to y'all. I don't think anyone I would be sending would really care, aside from if there was an Aegis agent who happened to be involved. They might recognize you. In which case I'll say, oh no, it's another Aegis agent willing to actually help in the Undercity. Good gods, what reason have we come to?
masks may be prudent. I would think on it. Thank you for the suggestion. Any additional questions?
What would be the next step then? Just inform you when things are ready or we're ready?
The next step, because unfortunately a degree of guerrilla warfare is flexibility, I don't have a syllabus.
As long as we are given a day or two's notice ahead of time.
Yes. Well, I suppose, technically speaking, the issue is that if the siege of the mega building does occur at the timetable I hope it to occur at, that may technically be the first time that either of you might be able to actually fight. It just really depends on the timing. If that timing is not available for whatever reason, then yes, most likely it would be this mission.
So, do you just need us to inform you when we are ready? Or would you just want us to wait for you to have something?
Wait for me to actually be able to get the official logistics in line, because if we're going to be blasting that tunnel, I need explosives, and I am nearly out of the explosive I've been keeping in secret. Plastic explosives.
How much?
Alternatively, I can see if Barley Fist. Well,
how much?
The prior amount of scanning we did indicate that the weakened tunnel was being held up by two steel support structures, so essentially enough to bring down a building scaffolding. Not a lot, but more so placing it in various places and not so much just, I need one big bomb. Yes.
I cannot say I could procure such at this moment, but should such supply issues come again in the future and this first operation proves fruitful in both parts, I am not adverse to, well, Maeve is already procuring additional equipment. What she brings to these operations would be, of course, something that is merely needed to ensure her success.
Ultimately, it depends. I don't wish to lean on any...
Yes. It would not be in any large amounts, of course. Nothing official or truly at scale, but enough to breach a door or break a pillar. Well,
break a pillar.
Yes. You did mention you wished for higher impact devices. The option is available. In a small matter. Barley Fest. Dwarf. That sounds like a dwarven name.
Yes.
Yes. Always something wheat or alcohol related in their names. Barley.
He used to be a brewer, now he's a suicidal engineer. Thus is the way of the Karazakarak.
Such is the way of a dwarf. Never dealt with their kind myself, but the royal family is not fond of them. As you... Some old past light from before the split. They do not speak much of it. Any more questions? It has been a pleasure.
It has.
Thank you for...
I wasn't sure if you were expecting me to be more unamicable, but this conversation has gone well.
I try not to go into these types of conversations with too much expectation, one way or the other.
Fair enough.
But I am glad we came to an agreement. Both as soldiers and as individuals seeking to help.
At the end of the day, my goal is to ensure that these two make it through this and other conflicts as healthy as they can be.
Then our goals are aligned. May Fiona, if you could see Mr. Shaw out.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And from one meeting on to another. At least this one's in garden.
It will never stop. It never does. Thank you for your time.
This is so formal.
Mr. Shaw.
You as well? It's so formal, I feel out of place. Edwin. Yes. Yes, can you spare some... Yes, what we talked about earlier. I'll see you adequately resupplied. I'm aware of the security situation, but I have just received some more intelligence.
I will write up a small report for your convenience. I have received expert consultation from Charles Shaw of Guardian District. Not within the next few months, no. Yes, I will have additional assets. See what they can determine on the ground. No, they won't require any support from your part. He is amendable for now. But he is still a foreigner. Differing ideals and all. Yes, you know how it is. Yes, on unrelated matters, Maeve, which is to try out some additional arms. See them shipped to the embassy? Yes, I'll tell the mailing office to expect. Thank you. My next on-site visit, one moment. Tuesday afternoon. We'll talk more then. Have a good evening.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, message me. I miss you. And be safe when you get back. If you have questions, you can always talk to me, okay? I'll do my best to
Understand.
give you my ear.
Have a good night.
You as well.
Well, I only had one blow up, so that was good.
Oh. I did not hear this.
It was when I had asked you both to step away, so that way I didn't cause any concerns. Besides, it wasn't at Karina, it was at the handler that we had spoken about previously.
How did that go?
I mean, calling someone an inbred cocksneeze is never a good way to start a conversation, but it sure sets the tone. Surely I could have called them worse. Do you enjoy driving the boat?
The door wrong.
Maeve.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I was changing. Apologies. Mr. Shaw has been left out. Oh, is Yona?
Yes, ma'am.
Yona returning to station? Excuse me.
My apologies, ma'am.
Yona.
Yes, Yona informed me that she would likely be returning to the cathedral. And Mr.
Understand.
Shaw has another meeting he needs to meet with or go to in the rooms of Saphira.
Understood.
How did you take this evening? This meeting?
Acceptable. Mr. Shaw is an impassioned man who is a bit of a warhound, a attack dog-like personality. But quite agreeable, once you get past his foreign ideals, of course.
If I may, ma'am.
Hmm?
One thing
Yes.
we were informed of when dealing with other dignitaries, especially in, I don't want to say less official or less civilized, that seems rather improper, but
Foreign.
less developed, foreign, that's the best way of putting it,
That is the colloquial
is
term.
it wouldn't be uncommon for some posturing, some establishment for them, a little bit of chest pounding.
We are both soldiers of some type. Sailor, Marine, Army, Soldier, Ranger, it does not matter. We had that common ground. Posturing would have been... That is not how we were speaking. He was...
Of course, ma'am.
As long as you can temper your thoughts and do not let his personal beliefs influence yours, he should be an acceptable man to work under or alongside with.
There.
I have met more
Sounds like
foolish,
there was.
intelligent officers than him.
Sounds like there was. Based on your terms, ma'am, if you don't mind me saying, it seems like there was a bit of souring to the meeting. From my perspective, things looked rather well.
They did go
But
well.
I suppose then.
But I could tell. Well, he bluntly stated his distaste for the corrective devices and how Novaria treats its bound. Not an unfamiliar opinion amongst foreigners, but he admitted that he was uninformed on the years of history, though he had read up on Princess Ophelia and other matters, but, well,
I
a
had done my
month's worth
best,
of
ma'am,
reading
to.
cannot inform one of 400 years of history.
I had also done my best to enlighten him, ma'am. He seemed receptive when I spoke to him.
Yes, the way he speaks of these beastmen of the ball cultist remind me of your Eastern brethren.
They do seem to walk parallels with their more backwards and savage ideology, but where I would at least give even a shred of modicum to the East for having their own culture, these people's entire lives and perceptions seem to revolve around wanton violence. This, of course, isn't me supporting my views of the
There
East.
can be culture, and then there can be civilized, and then there can be civilized culture. The Eastern Wilds have a culture, yes, but they are not civilized. So yes, you are correct.
These beastmen just seem to be...
They are beasts.
Saturday morning cartoon villains, as one would say. Their perception and their...
I would not describe those who cannibalize others as cartoon villains, but...
I meant cartoonishly evil, ma'am. The faction that's entire persona is based around being angry and killing things. It is as one note and one track as one could possibly argue.
Around where Yona is from, in the north, are such kind of beasts.
There likely are.
The tribes to the... I am unsure how much you were allowed to read about your own kind to the east, but the northern... The northern Lycans are seen to be a bit more savage, even compared to their southern brethren. Food is less plenty, so they are more likely to pillage and raid each other, more likely to raid Navarian settlements, eat individuals when winter has left them starving. To the south, where food is more ample, it is less likely to encounter such tribes. So where does one draw the line? Where does one draw the line between beast and culture when one's culture is being a beast? I am not a philosopher.
Personal opinion.
Yes?
In my personal opinion, ma'am, the East, while being unified under their displeasurement of the West, they are not as unified as I think perhaps we would be led to believe.
Of course not. They are fractured tribes. They infight all the time.
And that's where I believed perhaps my views would come from. These beastmen, as they describe them, they don't seem to have any even typical ways of life that we would even consider to be borderline instinctual. The need of shelter and food and water, where they seem to have an insatiable desire to simply go about and murder everything.
I
This is
guess
not
you
me
will find
defending
out in
them
person.
or. Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
I am eager to assist where I am able to. If these creatures would wish to harm the others, only to sate their own nonsensical desires, I would almost find them no better than those that wantonly bring death upon those within the lower city.
Yes. Well, you shall have to inform me of your experiences if this clearing of supply lines and false flag operation proceeds as Mr. Shaw has described.
Do you believe, if I may inquire, ma'am, do you believe my opinions on him are misplaced?
I believe you were remarkably quick to give him such a high
Come to
opinion.
judgment.
One must
Perhaps.
be. I am not saying your judgment has been wrong so far, but you have. You seem to have given him quite a lot of trust for how little you have engaged with him.
For what it is worth, ma'am, I have formed my perception based on the bit that I have seen and from what I understand Yona thinks of him. And a man like him who's willing to even go up against or denounce a group like Aegis for their perceived lack of action against, or rather in the war effort, justified or not, it is not my place to say. I believe it to be the mark of a man that wishes to do well and see the right thing done. However, you are correct. I have not personally had dealings with or
Do not get
otherwise.
blinded by those who say they wish the right thing to be done. Everyone's definition of the right thing is different.
Though his station as well. He is an officer of a very humanitarian orientated organization, from what I've understood Aegis to be. Man does not reach such a station frivolously. But, with that being said as well, just as you have said, it is too early, and this is from my own words,
Thanks
it is
for
too
right,
early for me to say in full confidence that that is how I feel. It is what I have been led to perceive and have observed and have heard that is the ideal of the man that was sat here today and that I have spoken to, but I would like to still verify it for myself.
Indeed. The old adage is trust but verify.
Trust
I
but
believe you may
verify.
trust him
Yes,
with your life in a battlefield. From my judgment, his ideals are strong and his beliefs are true. But what I'm cautioning is do not let his belief become yours.
Oh. Oh. Oh, ma'am, I assure you, my ideals and where I stand in terms of my station in being with you is unwavering. I believe in the West and what it has done for the Lycan people. I believe in what you and Yona have been able to do for our people in a way as well as what we've been able to achieve through the symbiosis of union between Lycans and Navarians, I assure you, I will not be assuaged.
But that is all I ask.
Of course.
I
Right
will
now,
turn in for
ma'am.
the night, Inshallah. You
Of
are
course.
dismissed the rest of the night to do with as you please.
Of course, ma'am.
Mm.
I do assure you as well. I'm not going anywhere so long as I can help it.
Of course. I'm bound.
Of course.
You'll be by my side.
Always.
Mm.
Oh, one last super quick question. I do sincerely apologize, ma'am. Mr. Shaw inquired about the possibility to receive my contact details. I told him I would ask you.
You may give so. And if he
Understood, ma'am.
requests mine, he may
Thank
have
you.
it as well.
Understood. I will inform him.
Do so.
Have a peaceful evening, ma'am.
You as well, Maeve. Early morning tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah,
Controversial
Soka would-
opinion.
Were you
Soka would
watching?
carry
Mara,
Maeve.
Mara Jade's cooler.
Of course I was. I was sending her messages during it.
Were you and Viz watching?
No. I was
Okay.
watching the
No,
streams.
no.
Okay.
I'm
Oh, those door sounds global.
here
Oh my God,
to,
they are.
I'm here
Let's
to
fix it.
ask if I can buy one of these.
Sure.
I hear they're slaves, so
I have a
won't-
price sheet. I literally have a price sheet right here.
I'll take the redheaded bitch.
You
How much
want?
does she weigh?
Okay, that'll
you were a bitch to me.
be
What do you mean I was a bitch to you?
that'll be 1,250,000 credits.
Fuck! I don't have a. I don't have
What do you mean I was a
100,000.
bitch to you?
Yeah, she was rude to Keto once in the past.
so sleepy.
Was she?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't her fault. Keto
Yeah,
was
my
just
stream.
being Keto, right? And she was talking about drug
All right,
stuff.
guys, that's
and
it
you
for
were
today. More meat rack
I
probably
could tell by
tomorrow.
your
I'll see
body
you guys
language
later.
that
How many people are watching?
Maeve had gotten upset
20.
by Keto.
It was
So
like,
Keto picked up on it. She's like, "All right,
I'll
bitch."
see you guys later. Thanks
So
for
she
watching.
calls
Thanks for
you-
being here. Thanks for enjoying.
calls
Make sure to
you
follow.
the-
Make sure to like,
There we go.
subscribe, join the Discord, all that normal stuff. I'll see you guys all later. Bye bye. Join the Discord for off-stream roleplay updates and lore updates and character sheets and all that stuff. Make sure to subscribe if you want to support the stream. It really helps me out a lot. Bye. Yeah, Curry.